Welcome back. What a year it was and what a year it will be.
Already another critical election just 3 months away. The budget battle already underway and the new Trump administration just days from taking over. With that, let's take a moment to look ahead with our experts, Republican strategist Bill McCoshen, Democratic strategist Joe Zbecki. Gentlemen, good to see you. Welcome again.
Good to be here.
First, before we look ahead to 2025, I want to look back at 2024 briefly. Obviously, the election itself was defining. I'm curious, though, in your mind, what were the moments or the moment that stuck out that's going to kind of help tell the story as we head into 2025, Bill?
Well, there are a lot of iconic moments for Trump, right? I mean, Butler, the shooting when he did the fight, that's probably the #1 photo maybe in history in a campaign. But there are other big ones. The McDonald's, the garbage truck, his mugshot. I mean, the things that happened to Donald Trump or that his campaign made happen were historic and had a difference in the campaign. So I think he set himself up for pretty good momentum in 2025.
Joe?
We'll be talking about the year that was 2024 in the presidential election for a very long time. From the debacle of a debate performance from Joe Biden to the historic decision to step aside, Kamala Harris frankly wiping the mat with Donald Trump in the one debate they had, it turning out to not matter.
Didn't matter
all that much. So this is one that they're going to be writing many, many books about for many, many years to come.
Billy, you're close to folks who are in the Trump world. Let's talk about what happens after January 20th. What are these first 100 days of a Trump administration going to look like?
I think you ought to watch the first 10. I think there will be a slew of executive orders on day one regarding energy, regarding immigration, probably regarding January 6th. And many, many more. I think this administration is well prepared. They have all of their top cabinet positions already selected. They're working on the sub-cabinet positions now. I expect those to be chosen just after the first of the year. They want to hit the ground running on January 20th. They understand that this is a one-term deal. If they're going to truly change America and make it great again, they got to get started on day one. So I look for a foot on the gas, no brakes from the Trump administration right out of the gates.
What are these nomination hearings going to be like? Are they going to be chaotic?
I don't think so, because I think we know which candidates may have some issues, right? And I think that Joni Ernst in particular learned that you don't want to air those differences with the Trump administration in public. You want to have those conversations privately. I don't think any of Trump's nominees will be rejected by the United States Senate. Doesn't mean one or two may not be withdrawn before we get to that process. But I'm looking forward to those hearings.
Do Democrats need to make a spectacle out of these?
It's not about spectacle. It's about doing their job to advise and consent and preventing unqualified yes men and women from surrounding a president with a penchant for corruption. That is, as laid out in the Federalist Papers by Alexander Hamilton, that is the reason the Senate was given that job. They should ask fair, tough questions of all of these nominees. The ones to watch strike me as Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, Pam Bondi. This is a political party, a MAGA movement that wants to do away with things like DEI and would have you believe that it's all about a meritocracy. These are not meritocratic picks. These are not the most qualified people in the country that have the worldview that Donald Trump has, and he's nominated them anyways because they've given him donations, because he's close with them. That's not meritocratic at all. And so that's the kind of story that Democrats need to tell through the hearings.
Democrats seem to still be gaining their footing coming off the election in November. We've seen some mayors and governors come out recently saying, look, in certain instances, we want to work with the Trump administration, and we're going to. What should we expect to see from Democrats on the Hill and across the country?
I don't think anybody knows yet. There's some big moments in life that happen, and after which people tell you no big decisions for a year. Nobody should be making any big decisions in the 90 days or so after an election like the one we just had. We don't need to burn it all down and start over. We did some things well. Kamala Harris did some things well. But we also need to make sure we listen to the voters and understand where they're at. And in the end, what is this? It's still a very divided country, a very divided state here in Wisconsin, where a quarter inch makes all the difference in a game of inches.
I think you're going to see some Democratic surprises. I expect the Trump administration to lead with a reconciliation bill on immigration and energy first. I think there will be one on taxes and government reform probably in September. For your viewers who aren't familiar, reconciliation means you only need 50 votes to get it through the Senate. I think guys like John Fetterman will actually vote for those things. Remember, Donald Trump actually won states where 57 United States senators are. Republicans only have 54 today, but he won more than that, and he won 231 congressional seats. So I would expect to see some surprises from Democrats who come Trump's way over the next 100 days.
Joe, some Democrats are really painting this picture of chaos in this Trump administration. Do you not see it that way? Do you see it as there can be no chaos as we start this new administration?
I think there will be some chaos, but there's kind of two tracks here. There's the noise, and those of us who follow the news religiously are going to see absolute shock and awe starting on January 20th with things like pardons for January 6 convicted criminals who assaulted law enforcement officers on the immigration front. But a lot of that is going to be noise, because the signal we should be watching for ought to be, is this president going to lower prices for the American people at the gas pump, in the grocery store? That's what he promised. Is he going to deliver on that? That's harder to do, especially in short order.
Let's talk about here in Wisconsin, looking at the state legislature, this budget battle already brewing in Madison. We've heard from Speaker Vos, the governor as well, kind of already drawing their red lines around this budget conversation. What do you anticipate we're going to actually see when the session begins?
Well, my hope is that there's some trust that builds between the Democratic governor and the Republican leadership in the legislature so that we can find some grand bargains. The truth is, there were significant deals done between the Governor Evers and Republicans in the last session of the legislature, from shared revenue to the Brewers Stadium, and there were others. So the hope is that they can get back to that, but it all starts with trust, Jaron. They have to be able to have quality communication behind the scenes, that they can trust one another so they can find that common ground and get deals done.
$4 billion worth of reasons to find some of those areas of agreement. I'm confident that they will. You know, everybody sort of jumps up and down. Oh, Evers is threatening a veto, and Vos is saying we're just going to do what we're going to do. And it's like, hold on, folks. These are opening positions.
Yeah.
This is the beginning, and we got a long, long way to go.
They are saying that, though, publicly.
It's
you think
posturing
behind
and
the scenes it's
negotiating.
different. They haven't met.
They haven't met for 4 years, I don't believe. But the reality
what's
is,
different now?
some of the veto threats, like the one about returning state employees to work, he could do through partial veto. He doesn't need to veto the entire budget
If the
to
power
take
is
that,
still there, yeah.
take that item away. So my hope is everyone sort of dials it down a little bit. Let's see what the governor comes out with in his State of the State message in late January, and then his budget message in late February, and try and find those issues of common ground, starting with tax relief. That's what people are looking for.
And real quick, what's changed? Much narrower majorities for
Yeah,
Republicans.
for sure.
Do the Democratic pickups help for Democrats?
No question. No question. It's a different caucus
Maybe.
for Speaker Vos. It's a different calculus for Leader LeMahieu. There's no question this is going to change the dynamics. We don't know all the ways in which it will, but it will be different this time.
Quickly, how critical is the state Supreme Court race going to be? How expensive and how nasty is it going to get over the next 3 months?
It's everything. It's the Super Bowl of politics in 2025 in Wisconsin. It's for the majority. There isn't a vacancy today. It's very rare that you have a vacancy on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Liberals have a 4-3 majority today. One of the liberals is retiring. So this is the Super Bowl of politics. I expect it to be north of $200 million spent on that race.
Do we just throw out this concept that these are nonpartisan justices?
Yes, that ship has sailed.
Totally.
It's going to be nasty.
Everyone's fine with that.
Yeah, and I think you're going to
Okay.
see more candidates actually taking positions on issues. Janet Protasewicz sort of broke the mold on that. She got right up to the line. Court said she didn't cross it, so you're going to see more of that.
Is that dangerous for protecting the safety of the court?
Of course
Yes.
it is.
Do you think both of you think
Yes,
that
of course it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here we are.
This is
Here
not
we
a good
are.
development, and yet here we are. I hope your viewers have enjoyed a couple of months without TV ads. Slinging mud, they're
You're
coming
about
back.
to get bombarded.
But enjoy the holidays. It's about to be done with.
All right, gentlemen, hold those thoughts. We're coming back. The panel's staying with us. When we come back, the people they are watching the most closely, stay with us. We'll be back.